Belarus is sending a lot of their advanced radar systems to Iran. The Russians, they are sending air defense. They are sending Mi-28 attack helicopters. They are sending armored vehicles. We also had more flights from Russia. Heavy military transport aircraft on its way from Russia to Iran. The number of military cargo from China and Russia to Iran has increased significantly in the recent days amid U.S. military buildup for strikes on Iran. And we have also seen that Iran has deployed Tarada 2S electronic warfare systems, which it purchased from Russia and are capable of jamming Starlink in preparation for a possible attack. So that is a new deployment as well. Trump has finally come out and confirmed the obvious, what we have been saying here for a very long time, which is if there is no ceasefire, if there is no deal to be made, then strikes will take place. I know there's been a lot of people lying to you, maybe some overly optimistic people saying, well, Iran scared them off, or, Trump doesn't actually want war. It's Netanyahu trying to drag him into war. Well, that's just silliness because they have sent 115 plus, because the UK is sending more, Europe is sending more, 115 plus cargo jets, military cargo jets surrounding Iran from all sides over the past weeks and months. You have Delta Force, you have Azerbaijan. JD Vance went to Azerbaijan today. That was the clearest indication to me that we're getting a war. JD Vance going to Azerbaijan. We have U.S. Special Forces in Turkmenistan. We have 115 cargo jets. We have Patriot and THAAD air defense systems at every U.S. military base in the region. You guys kind of know what's going on. I don't need to repeat it. But yes, this is what President Trump has said. Iran won't possess nuclear weapons or ballistic missiles. I mean, that's just ludicrous. Everyone knows that the whole ballistic missile thing is ludicrous. It was as ludicrous as when they told Yasser Arafat that, oh, you can have Palestinian statehood, but no water rights, no energy rights, no standing army. It's just ludicrous on its face. No self-respecting person would ever take a deal like this. Really, you have to understand the mindset of Iranians right now. And it's not a lot different than the mindsets of Russians prior to February 24th of 2022. It's either, homeland or death, effectively. Now, the problem with that mindset for the United States, homeland or death, is that the Iranians are not going to take any sort of a quote-unquote deal that sacrifices the homeland. Giving up ballistic missiles would be it's the only thing protecting Iran right now. I mean, sure, they have radar systems. Sure, they have air defense. They've got, these Mi-28 attack helicopters. They have a lot of armed personnel. They have Besiege. They have IRGC. They have the Iranian military, Navy, so on and so forth. They have warships. They have drones. But really, what is that all going to do if you don't have ballistic missiles? That's the reason why Israel's terrified of them, because it's really the crux to Iran's sovereignty. Trump also added the Iranians really want to make a deal. Either we make a deal or we have to do something very tough like last time. If we do not reach an agreement with Iran, we will be forced to carry out very harsh action. I'm considering sending an aircraft carrier to the region and additional forces. So, yeah, a little bit of a tidbit on that aircraft carrier, which you can read about right here. President Trump says he's considering sending an additional aircraft carrier to the Middle East. That would be the USS George H.W. Bush. And in effect, it's actually already en route, okay? It does not have an in location, set for it, but it is en route, generally speaking, toward the Mediterranean. So I don't know where it is. We don't know exactly where it is, but it is on its way, so to speak. So I guess it's whether Trump wants to make that final decision to say, all right, head there, full steam ahead, and then it will proceed at lightning speed to the region, okay? We'll be right back with our video, but first a word from our sponsor, Enhance, NASDAQ ticker APAD, who is pioneering the intersection of elite sports, health tech, media, and human performance science. Enhance is creating a groundbreaking platform that fuses world-class athletic competition, medically supervised performance optimization, telehealth services, and consumer wellness products. At its core, The Enhanced Games, an international event allowing safe, transparent enhancement for record-breaking performances in swimming, track, and weightlifting. The first Enhanced Games hits Las Vegas May 24th of 2026 as a global media spectacle with massive payouts and top athletes already committed. Unlike traditional sports, Enhanced builds diversified revenue from live events, broadcasting rights, sponsorships, licensing, telehealth, and direct-to-consumer performance and longevity products for recurring growth. They're going public via merger with a Paradise Acquisition Corporation, valuing Enhanced at $1.2 billion enterprise value, expecting up to $200 million in cash to fuel expansion, athlete recruitment, medical infrastructure, and product launches. Post-close in the first half of 2026, it'll trade as Enhanced Group Incorporated on NASDAQ under ENHA. Learn more about Enhanced at enhanced.com. And as always, do your own research. This is not financial advice, and thank you so much to Enhance for supporting the show today. Iran says it is prepared to scale back its stockpile of 60% enriched uranium in exchange for a complete lifting of sanctions by the United States. Now, do not let anyone tell you that the Iranians are not pragmatic, because this is so pragmatic, so pragmatic of a take that I would almost say they're bending over backward to appease the United States. Now, why are they doing this? For the simple reason, I believe that the Russians say the same things. They say, we'll halt the battlefield lines right now if we can get a permanent ceasefire. Oh, we all know, and that was before the attempt on President Putin's life. So the negotiation points have changed, but the reason why they say something like this is not because, they really want it. It's because they know that this is like, okay, we are giving them everything that we could possibly give them and more. And we still know they're not going to agree to this. Because why is this everything Iran could give and more? It's quite simple. Iran, 60% enriched uranium. That's only possible because the U.S. pulled out of the JCPOA, the Iran deal. So basically what Iran is saying here is they will go back to the enrichment levels that were instilled when the U.S. was still in the JCPOA. And despite the fact that they showed their overpowering force against the Israelis, and I would say they are in a better negotiating position now than they were during the JCPOA negotiations, despite that simple fact, they are still willing to go back effectively to what it once was. Right? What the deal once was. And I don't think they should. I think the cards are in their favor. Okay. Now, Iran's foreign minister spoke with Rick Sanchez of RT. He had this to say in an interview that was released today. Here's a little clip. Let me share the audio.
A team to work on a doable plan or proposal which can guarantee that there would be no nuclear weapon. At the same time, can guarantees Iran's right for peaceful use of nuclear technology. For electricity, for producing medicines, agriculture, everything. Okay. And I think it is doable and it is achievable. We just need to use our creativity and goodwill. Let me be specific on this. Okay. We still do not have full trust on Americans. Yeah. And I think we have every right not having trust, because the last time we negotiated, last June, we were in the middle of negotiations. Yes. when they decided to attack us, and that was a very, very bad experience for us. And
so what's it going to take to get you to the level of trust that you think is necessary?
Well, we need to make sure that scenario is not repeated, and this is mostly up to Americans.
First of all, shout out Rick Sanchez going all the way to Iran right now. Very dangerous time to be going to Iran, not because of the Iranians, of course, but because of the United States and Israel and what they are planning. Second of all, this is, honestly, this even is bending over backward. Why shouldn't the Iranians get a nuclear weapon? There's some rumors that, of course, Saudi Arabia has a nuclear bomb. I'm sure most people are aware of that. Do I think Saudi Arabia has a nuclear bomb? 50-50. 50-50 because they signed that deal with the Pakistanis, and I don't really know what the purpose of signing that would be if they did have a nuclear bomb already, but maybe it would be to offset any sort of potential tensions, but those nations are brotherly and allied already. So I don't know. I do believe it's possible that they have a nuclear bomb secretly like the Israelis. I don't understand why Iran shouldn't just get one and go full North Korea route. I mean, it's like the easiest way to protect their interests, right? Anyways, further indication that the U.S. is preparing for war. We have the U.S. military evacuating the Al-Tanf base in southern Syria, moving its forces and assets into Jordan. So you are seeing the culmination of a plan to limit potential losses and losses of U.S. personnel and assets by putting them all in one secure, hopefully, from the perspective of the U.S. location, rather than having all of these assets spread out all across the region, okay? So the U.S. obviously has withdrawn from one of its several bases in Iraq. We reported on that not too long ago, a few weeks ago. And they have also now withdrawn from the Al-Tanf base in southern Syria. You have to understand that this is not happening out of the blue. You don't have the withdrawal of U.S. Forces out of these military bases just because they felt like it on a random Tuesday. This is because they understand that Iran is dead serious about targeting U.S. military bases. As for the Iranians, Iran has blocked the entrance of its nuclear facilities. So this is very interesting. We've seen several of these satellite images come out now. The entrances and exits on all sides of Iran's nuclear facilities where they do this enrichment have been blocked off with a substantial level of dirt. Now, the hope there, I'd imagine, is that it's going to make it a tad bit more difficult for a bunker buster or a tomahawk to get inside if there are no openings. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I guess it is wise to take all possible precautions. The United States today decided to operate within Iranian airspace very close to Chabahar port. Now, I think that this is an effort at provoking the Iranians, all right? As we have reported here, the U.S. struck an Iranian Shahed 139 reconnaissance drone out of the sky about a week and a half ago. And I think that they were hoping, well, if we send a U.S. drone, an MQ-4C, directly, practically over Iranian land, you can see how close it got there to Iranian soil. It's practically over Iranian soil, definitely within Iranian waters and airspace. If we do that, maybe they'll shoot it out of the sky and we will have some sort of a pretext to escalate the situation. But the Iranians were smart. They said, no, you have to be the ones that take the first shot. We are not gonna be the ones to blame here, okay? You cannot use some fictitious manufactured pretext to sell to the American public to absolve you from the blood that you are surely going to spill if and when you pursue this war. You cannot blame it on us. That is going to fall on you, Trump. The United Kingdom is also sending refueling tankers. They left England and headed across Europe, escorted by 6 F-35s from Vermont's Air National Guard all the way to Jordan. So more of these air refueling tankers. On the flip side, you also have Belarus, which is sending, oddly, Belarus has been a very large arms supplier. Belarus, Russia, China, they've been the largest suppliers over the past few months. Belarus is very technologically advanced. They have radar systems. So Belarus is sending a lot of their advanced radar systems to Iran. The Russians, what are they sending? They are sending air defense. They are sending Mi-28 attack helicopters. They are sending armored vehicles. And the Chinese, well, maybe that's a bit of a surprise as to what they're sending. We also had more flights from Russia. Heavy military transport aircraft on its way from Russia to Iran. The number of military cargo from China and Russia to Iran has increased significantly in the recent days amid U.S. military buildup for strikes on Iran. And we have also seen that Iran has deployed Tarada 2S electronic warfare systems, which it purchased from Russia and are capable of jamming Starlink in preparation for a possible attack. So that is a new deployment as well. All in all, the story is quite literally the same. They are now coming out and saying it out loud that yes, they do intend to do these strikes on Iran. Yes, this is going to be coming. And I think it's really just a matter of time. I think it's as simple as that. And God willing, the Iranians defend themselves, prepare to the best of their ability. They are not letting these negotiations sway those efforts. They have said many times. But I hope that they really mean it, because a lot of lives, the future of Iran, future of many countries, if Iran were to have chaos, if Iran were to be Syriafied or Gazified, it would mean very big problems, not just for the 90 million people in Iran, but for Russia, for China, Russia from a security standpoint, China from an economic standpoint. All right. It would mean very big problems for Iran's neighbors, right? That would not be a pretty picture. You think it's bad enough that Al-Qaeda and ISIS are running Syria right now? You think that's bad? You think that's, a bad look or something? Wait until they have free-flowing entry to Iran. And Iran's not too far away from Russia. They could easily get up there. If the borders are open, there's no security. You have to understand, Syria is a wild west right now. Absolute wild west. Everyone is paid off. It's completely corrupted. There is no oversight anywhere. The country is controlled by various factions and paramilitary groups and so-called governments. And, before Syria fell, or actually after Syria fell, I was like, oh, well, geez, this is really bad, because Hezbollah's weapons from Iran, they flow directly through Syria. That's the main supply route. And actually now, in some ways, I hear it is cheaper to get weapons to Hezbollah from Iran now, because the situation has degraded so much in Syria that it's actually even easier. In the future, will it be easier? No, they're going to clamp down eventually. But right now, in the interim, when there's all this chaos, and depending on how long this chaos lasts, could be years, it's not good for anyone, to put it quite simply. It's not good for anyone. And I pray to God that they don't do this to Iran. I really do. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.